Hey guys, it's Magic Slayer here, just coming back with another WoW video. Yeah, just to give you a little bit of background, so this video is about coming back to World of Warcraft in Battle for Azeroth, in kind of what my impression is of it. And yeah, I'm going to list some pros and cons in that, but a little bit of background on me. I left World of Warcraft about 8 years ago, and I came back the first week of Battle for Azeroth's release. And I had left World of Warcraft about the time of the Mist of Pandaria beta. I was in the beta, and that was when they got rid of the skill tree. They were releasing all these pandas everywhere. Everybody was a Kung Fu Panda, and it just... It was a little overwhelming. And then, being in the beta test, I kept bringing up points with Blizzard. Certain choices that they made, like what I called bottleneck questing or funnel questing, and that was back in the old days. That was where there was only one quest item, and everybody had to click it all at once. And what had happened was, I mean, you'd have a couple hundred people just sitting there spam clicking this. For this, it was a scroll, from what I remember, and you had to create a special macro that you could just sit there and cram that would automatically target and click it. And it took about a half an hour for me to actually complete that one quest. So I had posted a ticket to Blizzard and saying, "Hey guys, you got this bottleneck here. Why don't you create a phasing instance like you did back in Wrath of the Lich King, and make it to where you phase it. You're the only one in that room, and you can grab that item and continue on. Otherwise, it's going to bottleneck." And I was pretty much just told to shut up. So it's like, oh, okay, so you guys want to continue on with these bottleneck quests. It was just a combination of a bunch of stuff, and I quit. I quit World of Warcraft, and explored other games, because back then it was World of Warcraft. That was it. My whole life revolved around World of Warcraft as far as video gaming, and it was too much. So about a week into Battle for Azeroth, I had talked to D-Wolf, and was like, "Hey man, let's get back into this. Let's get into this. I think we could do pretty good." And we got back into it, and I've been playing it for a while now, even though he kind of stopped playing it because his time ran out. But let's talk about the pros and cons. Pros: beautiful overall. Battle for Azeroth content. I mean, the graphic designers did a great job. I mean, it looks awesome. I wish the entire game looked like this from back in the day. I wish Classic WoW looked like this. Although it wouldn't be Classic WoW anymore, but it would have the same aesthetic. It's great. I mean, you can see all the little details and everything, and a lot of time put into it. The quests are they line up pretty well. They're well grouped, where you have a bunch of quests in one area, and then it moves you on to the next area, and you have a bunch of quests there, which kind of helps out, especially with the leveling thing. You complete these quests, and you go over here and complete these quests, and you go over here and complete these quests. Plus the introduction of the chapter system, that kind of gives you a guide of how many quests you've completed in an area, and have you completed the storyline, can you move on. I think that's awesome. The graphics are updated. A lot of the mounts have updated graphics. Almost all the spells have updated graphics. The characters have updated graphics, and the cinematics. The cinematics are great. And that's something that, cinematics started really taking place during Wrath of the Lich King. And it was, it was great for the time. Great for the time, but it's very dated now. You look at the cutscenes now, and it's just like, wow, this is awesome. And then we have the new allied races and classes like Demon Hunter. It's great. I mean, honestly, I'm having more fun playing the Demon Hunter than I think any of the other classes. And plus, I've unlocked almost all of the allied races. I think I have one yet to unlock, and this is before 8.1.5. So the Zandalari trolls and the Kiltarian humans, they're not out yet. So, but I'm well on the way of unlocking those as well. The new mechanics. So this is kind of one of those gray areas of pros and cons. And pros, the new mechanics aren't difficult to get back into, because they eliminated the skill tree, which I miss that skill tree. But the new mechanics in each races, it doesn't take long to jump back into. You really You look at it and it's like, oh, hey, okay, well this is the rotation. This is what we got to do. This isn't hard. So I mean, it's easy to jump into any class and really excel at it. Then you have pet battles, which I thought when they first announced this, I thought it was an April Fool's joke. I really did. The only problem was it wasn't around April Fools. Oh no, they got to be kidding me. They're gonna have a Pokemon style battle in World of Warcraft. But getting back into it and actually exploring that, I'm having a lot of fun doing the pet battles and collecting the different pets in the world and that, which is something I kind of wish they would have had back in the day too, where you go through, even if you didn't battle the pets, but just go, and a lot of the critters that are running around, just being able to just capture them, trade them, sell them, whatever. I wish more of the pets were tradable and sellable. I mean, there's a lot of pets in the world that capture, and you only have the option to release them, but I would rather see those in the auction house and actually have a chance to sell them and buy them, ones that I don't want to go out and collect necessarily. Now, I can understand like quest pets, not selling those, or the event pets, those, yeah, lock those out. But I honestly think that the pets across the board that are just caught out in the wild should be able to be traded. Combined auction house. There's now no difference between the Horde and Alliance auction house, plus it's also across different servers too. So when you post something in auction house, it's not just your server bidding on it like it used to be. It's kind of across the board, and that has some downsides too. I mean, granted, it's not a limited market anymore, so if you put something up, there's more people that are able to, outbid you or undercut you. But it does increase the market space, so I mean, it allows a more diverse customer group. And probably one of the biggest pros that I've found in the new World of Warcraft is re-engaging with old friends. Now, I got to tell you the story. I was going through, and I was farming with one of my characters, going through, and I was building up auction house items and gold, redoing old Burning Crusade stuff, and I got a guild invite, one of those random automated guild invites, and I'm just like, oh gosh darn it, so I declined it, and I got a whisper, and I looked at that whisper, and it's like, wait a minute. That name looks familiar. Like, I knew somebody who played on another server with that same name. I wonder if it's the same guy. So I went in and I re-whispered, and it's like, hey, are you, so-and-so from this realm? And he goes, what? You sent me a guild invite. Are you? And I typed out the full name, because he had used his full name, and then he had abbreviated it for a few other characters using special symbols and that, whatever. Are you this full name from this server? And he comes back and he uses my first name. It's like, are you this guy? And I'm like, yeah, hey, I used his first name, and sure enough, it was my friend from back before Burning Crusade came out. He was a member of my original guild on Rexar when we were running the Light Warriors. That was ages ago. And and I told him to resend the guild invite, and I joined his guild and everything, and been hanging out with him on Discord a couple times. So I mean, that was wonderful. Not to mention too, some of my old guild mates. And that one guy that had actually ran a server that originally got me into raiding in Burning Crusade, he actually tossed me a WoW token and was like, here, re-up your account, because there was a time I really couldn't pay for an account. So, I mean, there's that level of re-engaging with old friends, which is just, it's amazing. So that's the pros. Now let's get into the cons, the things that aren't so good about Battle for Azeroth. Almost nothing of the original game exists. I used to joke, and I called this the game that closely resembled the game I used to play. It has some of the same classes, a lot of the same storyline, but is not the same game at all, and it really isn't. Going back to the new mechanics and the new things that they implemented, they also got rid of a lot of the old things too. And leveling a character up from level 1 to 120, there are so many things that are different. I mean, like how each class reacts. And this goes to my second con, dramatic changes to original classes. Each class does not play the same like they did back in the day. And this is, levels 1 through 60, 60 to 70, 70 to 80, 80 to 90, 90 to 100, 100 to 110, 110 to 120. They don't react the same anymore. The movesets are different. The way you level up your character is different. Someone who quit in Classic WoW coming back now would not know how to play the game, even if they were a level 60 old school raider. It's changed that much. So a lot of it's been streamlined. It kind of runs to another thing where the leveling is a bit fast. Now, fast leveling isn't a bad thing. I actually enjoy it because it gets to the later content faster, but it seems like you go through the older expansions too fast. Another thing is server sharding and cross-realm bleed over. I understand that World of Warcraft doesn't have the 12 million players it did back when I was playing before. I've seen a lot of different numbers. I don't know how many are accurate. They stopped displaying their numbers, so there's nothing to go by. But there are a considerable less amount of players now than there was back then. Yet all the servers seem overcrowded. You go out in the wilderness, you start grinding, say you're grinding profession mats, or you're just doing a level grind, and it's a competition all the time with people that aren't even really on your server. They're off on some other server, yet there they are on your game, over prioritizing all the kills. In a lot of instances, like there are enemies in the Tanan jungle in Warlords of Draenor, and that place is so overcrowded with higher levels. So when you're level 100 and you're in that area, you can't really get to the creatures that you need to kill because there's 30 other people in that same area farming the same thing at level 120. And of course, there is no more kill stealing, which is another positive. But when you can kill an enemy with one hit before the other person even gets a tap on it, then you stole that kill. So I mean, that's one of the big things. Now, that's only on non-RP servers, and there's a reason why I play on an RP server, is because that bleed over and that server sharding is where if everybody's in one area, it kind of fades some of them out. But on RP servers, there's no server sharding, and I haven't noticed any cross-realm bleed over. I don't know about the auction house, but everything else seems to be specific to that one server, which is great. I don't feel a sense of being overcrowded. I mean, there's still other players, but it's more organic. They're not just superimposed from other servers. There's another thing too with the old expansion grinds. So now I can understand there was a bit of a grind for Legion, especially the rep grind, and they had addressed this. They had increased the amount of rep reward, which is great for the world quests. And I love world quests. World questing takes daily questing to a whole other level. Some people said, well, daily quest and world quests are the same thing. Not exactly true. So world quest activates when you're in the area and automatically completes when you're done with the quest, instead of having to go turn it back in. A daily quest, you go to a guy with the blue exclamation point, you talk to him, you do his quest, and you have to return back to the guy with the blue question mark. You have to go back and forth, where a world quest is just boom right there. It shows up on your map. You can fly right to it or travel right to it, and you're fine. The old expansion grinds, especially for Warlords of Draenor, the Tanan jungle grind is insane. You have 2 daily quest givers and 3 reps you have to grind, and one of those daily quest givers alternate between one faction and the other faction. So you don't have the same progression in the rep that you would with other reps, and there's nothing that you can really farm or mass kill that would give you a little bit of rep each time. So in order to get and this is more for the Warlords of Draenor pathfinding, to complete the Tanan Jungle Diplomat, which, it's, unless you have a lot of gold and you can buy these medallions that are mass farmed, you're not getting that Pathfinder. And and this is something most people, actually that have played for the 8 years that I was absent had already done. I mean, they rep grinded. They were stuck in the Tanan Jungle for what seemed like forever. Because it was active content. It just, for players coming back, it's kind of rough to go back in and re-experience that, because again, it's you seem rushed through it, and to get onto Legion. The big question is WoW worth playing Now, someone that's coming back into the game, yes, it is. There's a lot of positives to it. It is a fun game, even though it's not the same game that you may have played back in the day. It's still engaging. Some of it does seem like a chore. Some of it does seem like a job. But honestly, it's not boring. It's actually pretty fun. And it makes me look forward to Classic WoW. Now I know, I mean, this is a whole other topic altogether. But what is Classic WoW going to be like? Is it going to be like the original? Is it going to be, you know, the things we don't like about the new ones? You know, like the store. And this is another con that I really haven't gotten into because I don't use it. I have no need to use it, other than WoW tokens, which I'd buy with gold instead of actually paying money. I don't have the cash and the disposable income to go and purchase things like unique pets and unique mounts from the store that seem kind of pushed on you. You know, there's a lot more emphasis on the WoW store than there ever used to be. I liked it back when the WoW store was just, hey, buy a t-shirt. You know, that was great. Or a 3D printed statue of your character. You know, that was great too. But now it just, I'm not a big fan of microtransactions and buying in-game stuff. So, unless it's more game time, definitely keep that. But a lot of that's going to Classic WoW, and I don't know about that. There's also talk of server sharding, which again, bleh. So yeah, I mean, guys, if you left World of Warcraft about the same time I did, anytime before Mist of Pandaria, it's worth it. Come back. And I'm not saying this because, you know, I'm a Blizzard fanboy, because if you guys knew me, some of yous do, I am not a Blizzard fanboy. This is not paid advertisement. Although, if they want to put some money my way, you know, I'm more than happy to. But no, this isn't a paid advertisement. So, all right, guys, tell me what you think in the comments below. Please like, share, subscribe, ring that bell icon, and you know, check out our Twitch live streams. We multicast, me and the Wolf, and we play a whole lineup of games, including World of Warcraft. So be sure to check us out. And guys, thanks for watching, and remember to play hard and game harder. And until next time, safe journeys.